Good morning, children. Children, welcome back to the social session. In the previous class, we tried to understand about the freedom struggle in Hyderabad state, and before that, freedom struggle in India we have seen. The Indian independence movement under Part A and Part B we tried to understand. Now, after the independence, how to rule for ourselves is a big question mark. With what rules and regulations should be placed to rule the country, how the mechanism of administration should be in the country was a big question mark. So for centuries, different parts of our country is being ruled by the kings, queens, and by the colonial powers. However, when our leaders were fighting against to this British colonial rule, they wanted the future government of India to be democratic and not monarchic. Monarchy means the single person rule, but they want a people's government which should be ruled by the people of this country by themselves. With the help of elected representatives, they wanted it to be ruled. So for this purpose, they had drafted a book of rules and regulations which we call it as a constitution. So in today's lesson, we shall try to understand about the background of making of the Indian constitution, children. So when India has gained independence from the colonial rule, it was decided to put together certain basic principles for which we stood, and the principles and procedures by which our country can be governed or can be ruled, and these all were written down in a book called as a constitution. So constitution is nothing but a book of rules and regulations through which the prime minister of the country gets elected, how he get elected, the chief minister of the states, how the country should be governed. These all rules and regulations are present in this book called as a constitution. And a constitution is a set of rules and regulations, procedures about how the country should be ruled and how the laws of the country should be made, and how the government should be formed, and what would be the role of the citizens in doing that, and what would be their rights. These all things will be present. The constitution also sets the goals of the country, what a country has to get developed into. So for which a government or for which the country should strive, and country is nothing but the people, for which the people should strive for. If you look at the background of the making of the Indian constitution, it was actually the Indian constitution was drafted under very difficult circumstances, and the country had been controlled by Britain for more than 200 years. For 2 centuries we were under the control of the Britisher. So all the institutions which have been designed by these Britishers were to suit to the needs of the Britisher, but not to the countrymen. The country had been partitioned due to communal conflicts into Pakistan and India also before the independence, and a large part of the country was ruled by the princely states. For example, even Hyderabad was under a Nizam. So a large part of the country is being ruled by the princely states also. Apart from the social and cultural diversity, India is a place where you find differences, isn't it? Different language, different food, different customs. So in spite of social and cultural diversity, there was a huge difference between the rich and poor, upper and lower class, castes, men and women, and the leaders were concerned about keeping the country together. So how the unity can be brought among the people and not allowing it to break further, because already country got divided in the name of religion as Hindustan and Pakistan. This meant that all the diverse people should feel that they have an equal and effective role in the running of the country. Our national movement was not merely a struggle against the foreign rule, but it also sought to end all kinds of inequality present in the society. There was inequality of men and women, there was inequality between the higher caste and lower caste, there was inequality between the landlords and the peasants. So in order to, they also sought to end up all such kind of inequalities in the name of a freedom struggle. So literacy levels and education was also very low in the country. There was acute poverty, poorness. Majority of the people were very poor, and lakhs of people had died of famines and epidemics that have broken out in the country. So the country was dependent upon the foreign nations even for its basic needs like food. We need to import the food grains during that time. It was necessary therefore to set out the vision of the future society, a design or a framework for achieving its goals was necessary. So there was a sharp difference of opinion between the leaders also of the national movement about how we could make a better society after independence. Yet most leaders agreed that independent India should be governed according to the principles of democracy in which all people will be equal in front of the law and will have certain fundamental rights guaranteed to them. And next, the government would be formed by the people by a general elections based on the principle of universal adult franchisee. That means all the people who are above 18 years of age will be given the right to vote. That means every citizen has a right to vote irrespective of the caste, creed, economic status or gender in elections. So we shall see about further the making of the constitution in the next class, children. This is the introduction of the Indian constitution. Thank you, children.